already law enforcement, you've already talked to the white car owners or whatever, just say we have. Don't do what you did in the DUI video. Don't put their faces and everything. We don't need to know any of their information. If they're good, they're good, unless they're suspect. If they're good, just say, hey man, we talked to these people, we ruled them out. The rule out thing is cool because you can always come back and find more information later. But if you're going to tell us emphatically that it has absolutely nothing to do with it, stop putting any of these people's details about their lives. And I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to see their shoestrings. I don't want to see anything.
The University of Idaho holding its winter graduation this weekend, but overshadowing the ceremony is the search for the suspect in the brutal murders of 4 students almost exactly a month ago.
Innocent until, let me take my time, but let me not make my intro long. I will be giving you guys my new updated opinion of the white car angle. Is it a Hyundai Elantra? First, I want to talk about Clemente Aguirre. There's no way I'm going to pronounce that name right. Please go look at the last video. I'm not trying to clickbait you into views. I think the intro is maybe 15 to 20 seconds. Don't quote me on that. Then you could just ignore my part and fast forward to the end. Or you can just Google his name. I want you to check this story out because you could see how dangerous it is to be accusing people of things that they didn't do. I'm going to call him CA. Spent 14 and a half years in prison, 10 and a half years of that on death row for a murder he didn't commit. This will be the kicker. And this is why it's so relevant for this case. A mother and her mother were killed. A mother and a grandmother. The daughter was the one who committed the murders. While Clemente, CA, was in prison all of this time, she was actually going around telling people that she did it and was able to remain free. I'm not going to tell you any more about that story other than the fact that, thank God, this man was able to gain his freedom. But I want you to think about these things when I tell you there's a horrible cloud of misandry hanging over the true crime community. And there's a horrible cloud of just bloodlust hanging over the true crime community, because I'm not going to act like y'all don't also do this to women sometimes. It's just by and large, and far more you do it to men. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, because at the very least, you never even go back and apologize to these people when we find out that they're innocent. Some of these people get out of, and I'm talking about just in these true crime cases where nobody ever even goes to jail. Y'all just wreck their lives with havoc. But some of these people get out of prison for crimes that they didn't commit and have to fight for any kind of money sustenance. Can you imagine right now just being out here how the world is? You know what I mean? I was trying to say economy right here. I got stuck. I'm sorry. You think the price is going up, down, fluctuating, whatever. Imagine how hard it is for us versus coming home from prison for a crime. Having to do that. I want to tell you guys why now I'm troubled by the white car angle, and I haven't moved from my position of thinking that the roommates are either involved or the actual perpetrators here. I'm just wondering now what the white car also had to do with it. I am more and more sure. I made a video, I didn't put it out. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But all I said is what I'm about to say here. A quadruple murder that is gained nationwide. If not, I know it is gained universal, but when I say if not universal, how much universal attention has it gained? I know for us, it may seem like these cases and names that mean so much to us that we talk about, everybody just knows about them, but unfortunately, no, it would be perfect if it were that way. But this case has definitely gained national and a lot of universal attention. Therefore, when I think about this white car, the Hyundai Elantra, I'm not accusing them of anything, but I'm definitely growing more and more suspicious by the day. Because I think we're going into the 3rd or 4th day, correct me if I'm wrong on the specific details, where this car has been in the news and the police are wanting to talk to these people. Now, for the officers, because we never know what's going on, and there are so many different things that we never even consider or get to consider. This case will break, they will arrest somebody, and 90% of you guys will immediately begin to say the person did it. It's just ridiculous. It would be another possible Clemente Aguirre all over again. It's just ridiculous. You never wait on justice. But they will get a person that will break, and the internet will break. But for the cops, this is not something, if y'all have already spoken to these people, you are holding back information, to protect the investigation. Most of us who are sensible are 1,000% with that, no matter how much we like to have answers. We co-sign it. We're on your side on that. This isn't one of those things that you guys need to hold back if you've already talked to the white car, in my opinion, because that will only fuel the rumors. We will continue looking, and we will continue to suspect them. I'm going to tell you why. If you've already law enforcement, you've already talked to the white car owners or whatever, just say we have. Don't do what you did in the DUI video. Don't put their faces and everything. We don't need to know any of their information. If they're good, they're good, unless they're suspect. If they're good, just say, hey, man, we talked to these people, we ruled them out. Stop putting people, if they have nothing to, the rule out thing is cool, because you can always come back and find more information later. But if you're going to tell us emphatically that it has absolutely nothing to do with it, stop putting any of these people's details about their lives. And I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to see their shoestrings. I don't want to see anything. Let these people live their lives. I hate what y'all did with that DUI stop. Anyway, not arrest. I keep saying stop, arrest, pull over. Y'all know what it was. My problem with the white car angle is this right here, man. The quadruple murder that has gained national and universal attention. If I'm in a white, any kind of car in that area, bro, I know that I was in that area when I'm telling you, like I was in, I either, let's say I live there, I live around there, I visit there frequently, I visit there sub-frequently, or whatever I should have said right there. Or I was just visiting. It was a one-time thing, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Please, comment section, tell me where I'm wrong at here. It doesn't matter. If you were in the area where news of this type of thing happening, you know about it or heard about it. Now, anything is possible. The people who own the white car could be dead. They could be in jail. They could be paralyzed. They can't I like to consider everything, but reasonably speaking, if they are not in any of those conditions, why wouldn't you have come forward by now to talk to the law enforcement? To law enforcement. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be doing what I mentioned that other young man did in my last video, where he ran to media? And I'm not saying everybody should or will do this, but he ran to media to say, hey, please interview me. I want to answer every question these people have, because they're wrecking my life and I have nothing to do with this. It was so sad to watch that young boy up there saying that. And y'all don't give one single damn, because you're just bloodthirsty, self-righteous scavengers. I'm not biting my tongue. It pisses me off. You need to do better. Most of you are well into adulthood, making me lose my train of thought. You should come forward like this young man did and clear your name. I was thinking yesterday, if I knew something, I'm not going to get too far off, but if I knew something about a crime, man, the way things are set up right now, man, I was thinking, how would I do it? And the furthest I got in my thoughts, well, I would write the cops a note or call them from an anonymous phone and say, listen, I know this right here, and I will help you and answer every question you got, even ruling me out. But if you leak any detail of my life, I'm out, because that's what happened in Clemente Aguilar CA case. Let me say it so I don't butcher his name. These women were murdered by their daughter and granddaughter, and then he saw the women, I guess, bleeding to death, dying with her. He went over there to help them and ended up being incarcerated for 14 and a half years, 10 and a half of them on death row for trying to help murder victims. Can you freaking imagine, man? You're walking home from work, you're walking to the store, you're doing whatever, man. You see somebody bleeding to death, you stop to help them and end up in prison and on death row for the next 14 and a half, 10 and a half years. You cannot even imagine, and that's why y'all don't care. You don't care who you accuse. You don't care what it does to their lives. You don't care, and mostly it's men. But yeah, the white car for me is this right here. I can't think of many scenarios, dead, paralyzed, in a coma somewhere, where you would not be aware that a quadruple murder happened in an area that you were in days ago. You would hear about it, and then your car now connected to this murder is being blasted all over, not just TV, because social media is the new TV for many of us. Many of us pay for internet and cable and only use the internet because we watch everything on social media. But your vehicle, even if you're not the owner, somebody was driving it that day, somebody who's fully aware of this vehicle knows, hey man, they looking for us, they want to talk to us. And the only reason in my mind that you wouldn't come forth is because you have something to do with it, or you have something that you want to hide. Maybe even not to do with this crime. Sometimes people don't come forth not because they have something to do with the particular crime, but because, and not even any, maybe it's just reasons like, I can't really be in the police face right now. I know that may sound weird or wild to some of y'all, But yeah, there are other reasons that people who have nothing to do with crimes that have information about those crimes just don't want. Some people just simply don't like the police. I mean, some of you guys would go as far as saying, hey, we just handle it, we'll let street justice take care of it. But I'm just trying to throw these things out there because what you guys do in true crime is you zero in on one thing and then you begin to look for everything that makes the one thing you zero in on true, no matter how ridiculous it is. Because if you stop the zeroing in, you would just look to your left or right and realize, well, what I'm thinking is just impossibly true.
Impossibly not true, sir. Impossibly not true.
Because of this and this and this. And I cannot remove these facts, so I have to remove this foolish speculation that I'm inserting. The roommates for me, I want to remind you guys, man, somebody came in the comment section and asked a good question that I didn't even think about. And maybe the answer is there and I just haven't heard it. Do we know what they were doing prior to, the crime, the roommates, or the victims arriving home? What were they doing the hours leading up to it? And once again, I want to remind you guys, because a lot of you seem to be forgetting. I know everybody's talking about the fake video and the YouTuber. I personally, of course, I'm disgusted by that, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time chasing rabbit hole. I mean, we know the foolishness is out here. There are people who are addressing it. Shout out to y'all who are addressing it, not just to create content, but for the right reasons. But other than that, you guys seem to be forgetting factually that the coroner said the roommates died in their sleep.
This is relevant for me because part of my theory, and I emphasize theory, is that the roommates possibly drugged them, or someone drugged them. But yeah, I'm going with the roommates. So that's why if they were drugged, obviously they would have been sleeping or, almost sleep or partially sleep when they were stabbed. So that's why that's relevant for me.
That's the coroner's report. Now, I'm going to be one of the first to tell you that these officers, law enforcement agencies, no matter who they are, get it wrong all of the time. They're not going to tell you that, but don't believe me, man. If I tell you something, it's because I've seen proof of it. If I slip up, I'll come back and correct myself. Just go to YouTube, man. Go to the internet if you don't trust YouTube. Go to your favorite platform and type in that search, man. Corrupt law enforcement. Don't even be general and say corrupt. Look for the specific thing that you want to know. DNA labs messing up, crime scene investigators messing up, detectives falsifying. Look for the specific thing. You're going to see probably on most of it actual court cases where at least one cop or agency were penalized for it, legally, criminally. So I'm not saying that the coroner couldn't have gotten it wrong, but I don't know enough about, this coroner to gauge the measure of right and wrongness, but I have no reason to believe that they're just horribly wrong. Now, I do want to touch on one other thing before I get out of here that was brought to my attention that does need to be considered, because I was overlooking it. So what happens next, I'm not necessarily proud of, but I left it in there just to emphasize how easy it is for any of us, even a guy who created a whole platform to say people are innocent until they're proven guilty. It's easy for any of us just to run with the narrative that people are guilty because we hear that, and that's not okay. So here we go. This is a small town from everything that we see and hear. A lot of these people, this came up when we found out that the gentleman who, and I know a lot of you are gonna take issue with me calling him a gentleman, the young man who was arrested for beating his wife and kids. I understand why y'all would be upset with him. That is some BS. His wife is saying he's absolutely not involved in the murder. I have my suspicions about him. I put that in the video that I may or may not drop. But his wife is coming out saying he's not involved with the murder. I'm not going to get too deep into detail about that. But let me get my train of thought back. The small town thing, that was an issue because people found out he was convicted of a murder and served time for it years ago. Then he just got arrested a couple of days ago for beating his wife, girlfriend, the lady, and a kid, maybe his kid or whatever. I'm not making light of that because it's horrible. I want to say that. But the coroner in the Idaho 4 case is his attorney. I said all that to say that. You guys know I'm too wordy. The coroner in the Idaho 4 case is his attorney, and people like, this dude could be a suspect. You're his attorney. So, but the police have ruled him out, and his wife is saying he had nothing to do with it. That is not something I'm taking off my radar. You did too much, buddy. I don't want to overly condemn you, but you did too much for me to I'm gonna come back to you. But right now but you on the radar. I'm definitely not gonna scrounge through this man's life and play God and throw the first stone. I'm not doing any of that. But you did too much just to be off my radar. And come on, man, you tripping, man. Come on, man. And let me say this, because I might clip that part. But if I leave it in there, I have to say this. Allegedly did too much. Why did I go on that rant? And there I go. Knowing he's allegedly be this female and a child. The man, everybody is innocent until. Look at me being a hypocrite. Call me out too. But what that brings out is the reality that these small towns usually double occupy positions because there are not enough professionals to go around. And what that brings into question is the local police department, no shade to them, but Idaho Police Department, Omaha, whatever it's called, are they fumbling the ball on some of these? Did we give them too much credit to say that we could trust what they were doing? And they don't have the experience. The detective that was talking about it, he detailed the murders that they've had. They've had like this very small amount, praise God, in the last couple of years, and now you come back and they got 4 in one night. So it's just overwhelming to them in experience and just inexperience. So what I mean by on the job experience, they don't have that much experience for 1 or 2 murders, much less 4 in one night. And then just to be faced with that as a human is overwhelming. So that led me to just speculate about some of the investigative techniques, some of the information we're getting. But I also find balance because I know other more professional and experienced outside agencies are coming in on this case too. But that was just another tidbit I wanted to throw in there. I still have the roommates. If you want to hear the full outline about that, you can go check the video. I'll leave it in the description if I remember. If not, it's on my page. This will be the 3rd video, so it's not hard to find of me actually since I launched Innocent Until. I just want to say, man, remembering these cases as we try to find justice, man, that there are very real human beings on both sides. I'm not going to be overly preachy. All of us are aware of this. People are not guilty until they're proven innocent. People are innocent until I'm gone.
It started in 2004 when the Honduran immigrant was accused of killing 2 women, a mother and her adult daughter, in their trailer. From the start, Aguirre-Jarquin said he found the women dead, that he tried to help, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints on the murder scene. He was found guilty and sentenced to die.
I didn't do it. I don't kill nobody.